Let's see how this Needleman and Wunsch algorithm executes. We know it's an algorithm that performs global alignments, so it's a dynamic programming algorithm written by Needleman and Wunsch in 1970. So we create a matrix, we put an extra row and a column so as to align the gaps at the start of the matrix. So we can start with a gap on anywhere. This is our scoring scheme. For this example, we take the match as +1, a mismatch as -1, and a gap penalty as -2. So first we create a matrix. So that is a two-dimensional matrix. On one side we have one sequence T, G, G, T, G. On other side we have another sequence A, T, C, G, T. And we fill up the first column, whereas we fill up the first row also. So actually we are here, in this case, we are changing the column, but we are not changing the rows. So on the rows, we are standing at the same position. So we have a situation where we are introducing the gaps on the second stand. So in this way, we keep on adding that gap penalty. And since score is accumulative from the previous score, so we come up with -2, then becomes -4, -6, -8, -10. Same way we move to the bottom where we take our first column. We are not changing the column, we are changing the rows, and similarly we can have the penalties like this. So our matrix is created. Now we start from here, A and T. We see that both of them they mismatch, and the score of the mismatch is -1. And this will add into from the previous vertical score we can add up. Either we come from the top where we can add this -2. So in that case our score will be -2 plus -1, so that is equal to -3, which is not one possibility. The other possibility is we can come from here, so we can add this, while now we are introducing the gap in our alignment, and in that case we are having a mismatch while we are coming from a gap. So in that case our cumulative score will be then -3. -3 if we come here, -3 if we come here. So if we come from this diagonal line, score is 0 plus -1, which is -1 right here. So which one amongst them is the maximum, guys, as per the algorithm? -1. So we will take this score coming from the diagonal. So this red arrow over here is a pointer which is telling us that we derived this score from the diagonal. So it will help in the last step or in the traceback step. So likewise, we keep on moving in all cells and we keep on adding all these scores or picking up the maximum scores, and in the end we fill the complete matrix. So this is how we have filled it, a part of it. So we have seen a small section, and here is where we have the full picture out of it. Then we keep our pointers and they will tell us how our actual alignment it goes off. So we start traceback then. So here pointer comes tells us that we get this score from here. So actually we were putting a gap on one of the stands. So we were changing the column, we were moving here, but on the other stand we were at the same point. So actually it will be something like where we have a G here, and in the opposite stand we will have a gap situation. Here we get T and T, they match with one another, and then we move upward. So in this way our sequences they keep on aligning with one another. So we get all scores from the horizontals except the first one. So here we have the gap on the top strand, whereas we have the element on the bottom strand. So our alignment finally looks like this. So while keeping track of our traceback pointers, if you remember, we had some situation like this. So we had a gap on bottom strand and element on the top strand, and then we had this long diagonal, and then we end up we have situation like this where we have again a gap on top strand versus there was an element on the bottom strand. So in this way our final alignment is something like this. This corresponds to this one, corresponds to this one, and this part is actually corresponding to this diagonal. So in this section we have executed this Needleman and Wunsch algorithm. It performs global alignments of two sequences, and basically it's a dynamic programming algorithm, and it performs the alignment of two full sequences.